Really good football discussion in the first hour here on the Braylon Neighborhood Show. Welcome back. Glad you're with us here on Woodward Sports. Ryan Kool-Aid is with us. We were talking just before the break about Terrion Arnold. Well, there's been some updated news on Terrion Arnold, some breaking news. Anytime we get breaking news, we go to Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid, why don't you fill us in with the breaking news on the Lions starting cornerback?
Oh, yeah. So while everything was coming up here, Adam Schefter tweeted out that Lions cornerback Terrion Arnold is now out indefinitely. And Dan Campbell, he was giving his press conference and said that Terrion Arnold is going to be out for a while.
So there's no DJ Reed. There's no Terrion Arnold. There's no Yassine. There's no Amit Robertson. So here we are facing a 2024 situation yet again.
Quote, a long time.
In addition to that, there's been no Aleem McNeil. There's no Marcus Davenport. And yesterday there was no Taylor Decker. 2 years ago.
Don't sleep. Khalif Raymond.
Well done. Yeah, thank you. It goes on and on and on. And these are impactful players. I don't care how many catches Khalif Raymond has. He does a lot of things that Braylon has done in Braylon's breakdown about whether or not it's important in the scheme of the offense. And special teams is pretty important. Last time I checked, it was a third of the game. Here's what I'm wondering moving forward. 2 years ago, I was nauseated by the people trying to take away what the Lions did in Kansas City on opening night by saying, well, they didn't have Travis Kelce. They didn't have Chris Jones. I want you to mark this week and maybe even last week, since they just beat the Bengals. Shep, I don't care. They're not very good. It's an NFL team. Have some respect. There's 53 guys on that roster who are NFL players. They may not be as good as your players, but there's still 53 guys on that NFL roster. They did it without Decker. They did it without DJ Reed. They did it without Khalif Raymond. Okay, and now moving forward, when the Lions, if they beat Kansas City, they're going to have to do it with all those guys. Just remember that, okay? When next time somebody says, well, the Lions had to beat this team without X and X on their team.
Yeah, that's very true. And the Lions are going to be without some of their studs going into a game in which they're going to need them. You know, Kansas City Chiefs, they're trying to save their season. I think they figured some things out along the way, but what do I know? You know, but this is going to be a good match. Not having the secondary, is tough. I made the comparison to the Rams last week. I should have kept my mouth shut. You know, here we are, another situation like last year. But the show must go on. You know, that's the thing that sucks about it. You know what happened when guys get injured in practice? I'll never forget this. I was at a practice. I was actually at the practice in Ann Arbor. First time I saw this, and then I saw it again as a player, and you start to realize kind of what it means to be a player. People get hurt, and the show must go on. Drew Henson was the quarterback. He was QB1, U of M. Now, Shep, you know where I'm going with the story. I happened to be at that practice. I was at the infamous practice before they played Illinois. Drew Henson gets hurt in practice. You can hear a church mouse. Like, that's how quiet it was. Lloyd, that's how quiet it was. He legitimately says, move the practice up 10 yards, first down. Move the practice up 10 yards. They went and took care of Drew Henson, got him off the field, figure out what's going on with his ankle, and then being an ankle deal, he missed 2 games. But I say this to say this. When I got in college, it's the same thing. Guys get injured, Lloyd moves the drill up. In the league, it sucks. Move the drill up. That's what happens now. You get these injuries, and the Lions saw this last year. You have to move the season up. You have to move the drills up. Now your defensive line, who's been the juggernaut for you, the defensive line.
They've been good.
100%. They got to be even better. They got to be that much better. And also now, the offense, you got to score some points.
Absolutely.
Because you got to put your defense in situations. So no more of this, let me give the ball to David Montgomery 40 times because he's from Cincinnati. The story was amazing. Like, the story is amazing.
Yeah.
I have a heart. Like,
I know you do. You have a big heart. Yeah,
David Montgomery getting a chance. His sister, who was paralyzed 18 months ago, getting a chance to see him play for the very first time. The story was amazing. You even see Bengals fans like dapping her up when he throws the touchdown.
It's a
and he comes back
tearjerker
and
for
scores
sure.
a touchdown.
Yeah.
It worked in that game. The Bengals suck. They stink. Like, the season has just gotten real. So you can't have wasted series. You can't have wasted plays because of where the defense is. You don't want to put them in a situation where you get behind 2 scores. You know, now you got to go out there. So it just puts that much more emphasis on the play. Every play mattered. Not saying that it didn't before.
Yeah.
Johnny Moe, much respect to what you're doing. But it just matters that much more now.
I would argue this is where Dan Campbell's life in the National Football League as a player will really help him.
Yeah.
Okay? Because he's been that guy who's had to step up,
Yeah.
quote unquote.
Player and coach.
Nobody, with all due respect, nobody cares.
No,
Kansas City doesn't give a rat's ass that the Detroit Lions are going through all kinds.
You think Baltimore cares?
Hell no. They don't care.
No one cares right now.
Nobody
You get no
cares.
sympathy.
You're not getting any sympathy, and that's why, even though it's tough, even though it may seem to some people it's cold-hearted, even though it's not, you've got a job to do. I know it's a cliche. You've got to move forward. Last year, I would guess if any injury would have taken the heart out of a team, it would have been losing your most impactful defensive player. And yet, look at what they did without him. I'm not saying that's what they can do
Yeah.
here. I'm just saying you're losing multiple guys here. I don't know how important people think DJ Reed and Terrion Arnold are individually. Collectively, that's a big blow. Okay? Not to mention Amik Robertson and Rock Yassin. And where do you go from here? Good song back in the day, right? Where do you go? Where do we go from here? It's a big, big deal right now on what you can do. And you and I talked about it briefly last week. The corners who might be available,
Tomorrow better be busy.
Stephon Gilmore.
Tomorrow better be a busy day around Allen Park. You better have at least 9 DBs coming in to do some testing so you can see where guys are at, what shape they're in, where they at currently, because they weren't in a training camp. If they weren't in a training camp, excuse me, you got to make some moves. Yeah, you may have to actually go and get some guys from teams. This is when you see how good GMs are. Brad Holmes, all this credit that we give him,
Yeah.
and rightfully so. We give Brad Holmes a ton of credit. Now we need you to go be great. Now we need you to go out there and find some moves. Now we need you to go work some moves where you're trading this guy for that guy because it works for the Lions. Don't give me this, well, we can't do this because we have a plan. Guess what? Everybody get plans to get punched in the mouth. And the Lions have just been punched in the mouth, proverbially, in the secondary.
You and I said it 2 weeks ago, not to pat ourselves on the back, 2 weeks ago. This team needs more corners than they do pass rushers. And you've got people on a national scope out there. Somebody is Kay Adams, I believe is her name, out there. I want to see Cam Jordan go to Detroit, give him a chance to win a Super Bowl. He deserves it. He's a good guy, and he'll be welcomed back with open arms if he comes back to New Orleans and all this other crap. Hey, man, no offense.
I don't know what's going on.
What is that doing?
We don't care. What we really want is we want a cornerback who can cover.
Yeah.
That's what we need right now, okay? Because some pass rushers are coming back for this team. Aleem McNeil, it's middle of the pocket. He'll come back. Hopefully Marcus Davenport. I know. Here comes the laugh. Cue the laugh stick. Marcus Davenport, same thing. Aiden Hutchinson healthy, thankfully. Derek Barnes has been really good. Another good game by Derek Barnes. Secondary is where this team needs some help addressed, and we talked about it 2 weeks ago and why they needed it.
Thank God in that secondary, though, there are still two animals, one named Brian Branch and one named Kirby Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God, because if you're talking about having the lack of secondary help at the quarterback position, and also you just have average safety play or decent, one good
Super exposed.
like that right there helps. They're going to have to be major for that defense. They're going to have to allow things for Kelvin Shepard.
So with that said, I mean, can we give, and I think he's gotten a lot of it, but it's
And
deserved.
I don't want to hear any comments about, just move Brian Branch to DB. If anyone says that, tap out of this show.
Okay. But Kelvin Shepard, hell of a job getting his
Let him
team
know.
ready for Cincinnati, even though they were without a lot of their weapons. Okay. Anytime we view weapons, no disrespect, but it's all about, wide receivers, running backs, quarterback. There's a lot of weapons on the defensive side of the ball. Kelvin Shepard had a plan, and they executed that plan for the most part good enough to get them to 4 straight wins and 4-1 in the year. So more kudos